Hi everyone, welcome back to Ivy the Star Wars Story, and today I'm going to be talking about why I love Star Wars Rebels, so let's go and jump right into it. First off, I really love, the way they did the family aspect. I like how, Kanan didn't have a family prior. He didn't have one at all. The only person that really loved him was Master Depa Billaba. That was really the only person that cared for him. He didn't have a family growing up. And then Hera. Her mom died, we know, at a young age. And her father was busy fighting for Ryloth. He wasn't always there for her. And with Sabine, we know that her family rejected her. We know later on that she reconnects with them, but we know for quite a while they didn't want anything to do with her because of things that she had done. With Zeb, we know that his family all died, which is really sad. And then with Ezra, we know that his family, that his parents were sending hope during the dark times with the Empire. We know that they were sending messages of hope, and we know later on they got caught and they died during a prison escape. But it's super sad. Like, the family dynamic, though, was really cool because they came together and they are one big family, which is really cool, and I really enjoyed that aspect of that, if that makes sense. I really enjoyed that aspect. I think it's really cool. Another thing that I really like is seeing that Kanan also was training Ezra, but he was also learning. If that, he would be training Ezra, and he would also learn some new things. We know that in the beginning, he didn't like to carry his full saber out. He wore it separated. He didn't wear it fully out, so no one could tell it was a lightsaber. And then later on in, I believe it's either season 3 or 4, we see him start wearing his full saber out in public. Which I think is really cool. We see him starting to grow and be more, okay with it. He's not nervous about hiding it anymore, which I think is really cool. And then we also know that as Ezra's training grows, we know that Kanan was also learning and growing. And we see that especially with that one episode where they're in the Lothal Temple with Ahsoka, Ezra, and Kanan, whenever Kanan goes back and fights the Grand Inquisitor, also the Temple Guard, and he realized that he can't always protect Ezra. He learned in that moment. That was really cool, seeing that. And I like seeing the learning and growing aspect of it, which is super cool with Kanan and Ezra. And also with Sabine, we see that Sabine learned over time that not everyone is going to accept her, and that and that sometimes it takes time. With her family, it took time, but over time they reconnected. She reconnected with her mother, with her father, with her brother, which was really cool, seeing that. They were going to sell Kanan and Ezra out to the Empire, her family was, in order for Sabine's safety, but we know that Sabine doesn't stand for it, and over time she convinces her family not to stand for it either, which is really cool, and I really enjoy. It's so much fun seeing that, and it's really cool seeing that, and seeing that different aspect of everything, which I think is really cool. And I like how in what is it called? Forces of Destiny, we see some of the things that Sabine and her brother did, whenever they went to go visit that statue. That was really cool seeing that, and how she was using the Darksaber to get rid of all the Imperials on there. I thought that was really cool, and I also liked seeing Sabine wield the Darksaber. It was really cool. And then we see that later on she gives it to Bo-Katan, but I think it's really cool seeing her wield the Darksaber for a while. That was awesome to see, and that was awesome, and that was just so cool. And I like seeing Sabine's training, and we know that she trained a little bit with Kanan and Ezra, but it didn't really go too well. And then we know from the Ahsoka series that she started training with Ahsoka, didn't go too well, it stopped, and then we see that the Ahsoka series continues on after she reconnects with Ahsoka and continues on her training, and then becomes able to use the Force and all that, which I thought was really cool. But, and then another thing that I really like, which I know a lot of people know, is I like the way that they, Kanan and Ezra had the same ending. Hera was begging for both of them not to do, what they were about to do. With Kanan, it was, save them all except for himself. And with Ezra, it was save everyone, and not himself, and go with and let the poor girls take them off. Let the poor girls jump into hyperspace with him and Thrawn. We see they did the same stance. Like, it was so cool. And then also seeing, like, that Ezra learned that his family may not be there, but but their memories always will be there with him. Like, his family isn't there anymore, but their memories will never die, which was really cool seeing that. And seeing that he had to make that choice between saving his home, his family, his friends, and going back to his parents. And we see that although it's a tough decision, he makes the right one. And that was like a really heartbreaking scene, like seeing him give that up, seeing him give up what was so precious to him to make sure that his family that he has now was okay, would be okay. And I also like this like little scene they threw in there whenever, because we know that in the first couple seasons he was known for climbing through the air shafts, and then in season 3 and most of season 4 we didn't see it. And then in season 4, the very final episode, we see that he does it again. And he says one last time before he jumps into the shaft, which I thought was like really cool. Like, it was just like a little touch, which I thought was awesome. And then I also liked the fact they brought back Ahsoka. Like, that was really cool. And I liked how Ahsoka had been searching for Anakin, and she couldn't find him until they reached out in the Force whenever they're in that space whenever they're in that space battle. Whenever they're in that space battle with Darth Vader, and she realizes who it is. And then she fully realizes who it is on Lothal, but she still doesn't really believe it up until Malachor. And then we get to see that really cool fight between her and Darth Vader. And she's like, I won't leave you, not this time. We see that, and it was just like, it was really cool. Like, she's been looking for him and didn't know if he was still alive or not. She thought that he probably didn't make it through the purge, but it turns out he did, which we all know, but she didn't. And I liked how they did that there. And we know from season 7 that she could feel through the Force that something was wrong with Anakin, but she wasn't sure what. And so seeing like how they did that, and seeing how they did that in Rebels was awesome. And then like whenever they all were like, whenever Star Wars was like, she's not gone, and they used the World Between Worlds was really cool. And I really liked seeing that. Like, it's so much fun. I have so much fun watching Rebels. It's always like just such a good show. And I also really like we see that Ezra has to make so many tough decisions throughout his life, and one of them also being to let Kanan go. We see that in the World Between Worlds, whenever he realized he could save Ahsoka, he also wonders if he can save Kanan. And we see him go to that scene, and we see Ahsoka be like, you shouldn't do this. You can't do this. And we see him right before he was about to reach out and grab Kanan to stop him. We see that he makes the decision to let him go. And we see him make that decision several times, like I said earlier, with his parents. With Kanan, like, it's just with we see him like make the decision to do what's right for Lothal and for his family and his friends, and go with Thrawn and let the Pearl Girls jump to hyperspace. We see him make so many tough decisions over time, which is really cool. And it's really like sad, but at the same time it's like really cool and interesting seeing him make those decisions over time, and seeing his seeing his connection to the Force go deeper, which I really like. But yeah, that's why I love Star Wars Rebels. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. Bye, guys.